The Canon EOS RP is a great camera for both photo and YouTube video creation. So why am I selling it? Well, stick around and I'll tell you what I really like about this camera so you can decide if it's right for you. Hey travel and film photography fans and street portrait shooters, it's Alan here with Wild & Story, bringing you the best tips and inspiration for photographing around the world. Today we're talking about Canon's full-frame mirrorless camera, the Canon EOS RP. And despite the criticism that it's faced online, I'm going to give you the reasons why I think this is still a great camera. The Canon EOS RP, in my opinion, is a great gateway camera if you're just getting into photography, and particularly full-frame photography, or creating videos like myself for YouTube. So reason number one why I think this is a great camera is its affordability. You're getting a full-frame camera from Canon at a very affordable price. You've got access to Canon's full lineup of lenses, right from EFS lenses to EF lenses, right up into the new line of RF mount lenses. I've been using two lenses with this camera. One is actually the kit lens, which is the 24-105 f4 RF lens. This is image stabilized and it's solidly built, fantastic lens. Only downside is that with the small mirrorless body, it is very front heavy. I do have the hand grip, which does improve the handling. So the fact that the lens is very front heavy is one of the reasons why I will be switching to a new camera system. More about that at the end of the video. The other lens that I've been using is the Canon 50mm f1.2L lens, EF, with the adapter to mount it on. And I'm back, same location but a different day. Unfortunately, with interruptions and fading light, we ran out of time. But I'm back here a couple of days later to get this review finished for you. So where were we? We were talking about the second lens that I use, which is the Canon 50mm f1.2L lens. That's the EF mount. And that was mounted to the Canon EOS RP on an adapter. And the adapter worked brilliantly. The autofocus, there was no issues. When I was in Hamburg, taking street portraits in 2 or 3 minutes, it was absolutely no problem. And here's some examples of that exact combination in Amsterdam doing some street portraits. Okay, so I'm just going to shelter here from the wind down on the beach and talk about my second thing that I like about the Canon EOS RP, and that is build quality and ease of use. Canon, that's one thing that they do fantastically, is build solid, rugged cameras. The dials on the RP feel great, nice and solid and clicky. The rubber grip is lovely. And let's talk about ease of use. Canon's menu system is just the best, most well thought out, intuitive menu system of any camera system, hands down, that I've used. You can just go straight to whatever you need. I absolutely love it, and it's going to be probably the thing that I miss when I move to my new camera system. Okay, so let's carry on a little bit further and let's talk about the third thing which I like about Canon cameras, and that is the flip out screen. Without a doubt, I think Canon have got it spot on. Flips out to the side, rotates, you can take shots high up, low down. But what I really like is that when I'm traveling with the camera and I'm storing it in a bag, I can flip the screen around so that it's protected with the hard backing facing out from the back of the camera. I really like that. And next up is Canon's infamous color science. And I think Canon, for stills photography, for portraits in particular, I really like this. It's kind of just almost like slightly soft. I find sometimes that camera companies like Sony, their images are just a little bit too sharp, particularly when it comes to street portraits. And because I come from shooting film as well, I just like that soft roll-off that you get with Canon cameras. And last but not least is the fact that you can manually control the audio settings, which is very important for doing YouTube videos like this. So I can go in and adjust the gain for whether I'm using the Rode Wireless Go lavalier mic like I'm doing today on this windy day, or whether I'm just using the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus. Okay, so the camera does have some very minor flaws, but before I get to that, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit like or dislike. It does all help to grow this channel. So thank you very much. Okay, so let's take a seat and we'll talk about what I think are the flaws to the Canon EOS RP. And the first thing has got to be battery life. If I'm doing a piece to camera, definitely that battery is going to die halfway through. So normally for a YouTube video, I was generally averaging around 1 to 1.5 to 2 batteries. So obviously the way to overcome it is just buy more batteries. And the great thing that's about the battery used in the Canon EOS RP is that you can find plenty of them secondhand online. And so here's something that no other Canon EOS RP review has talked about as far as I'm aware, and that's custom dials. For some reason, C1 and C2, which is one of the reasons why I bought the camera, thinking, oh, I can have C1 for just like this, talking to the camera, and C2 for, say, B-roll slow motion settings. For some reason, I could never get my video settings to be set as a custom function C1 or C2. It only seemed to be that you could set those for stills settings. Okay, so I'm going to carry on walking and we're going to talk about that big issue that everybody's been talking about, and that's why no 24 frames per second. Yeah, so no 24 frames per second. What's all that about? But to be honest, if you're creating YouTube videos like I am, and they're not cinematic, they're like this, talking to the camera, being educational or entertaining, you don't need 24 frames per second. 30 is absolutely fine, 60 is absolutely fine, or you can do what I did in one of my videos, and that's change over to PAL and shoot at 25 frames per second. In fact, if you look back at the last 3 videos that I've done, they've all been shot at different frame rates. There was one at 30 frames per second, some slow-mo at 60, and the last one I think was done at 25 frames per second. But having said that, I just find it, like everybody else, a little bit frustrating and narrow-minded that Canon would exclude a whole raft of people that they could potentially sell their cameras to. I mean, my phone does 24 frames per second. Hey, even this GoPro right now is filming in 24 frames per second. So come on, Canon, I think you can do a lot better. Okay, so we're back in the car after that nice evening walk down by the beach. Let's talk about why I'm selling the camera. And it's not because the Canon EOS RP is a bad camera. It's actually a very good camera. I think, as I said before, it's a great gateway camera for new photographers or people who want to step up into full frame but still use their old lenses and have access to the new line of RF mount lenses. I think it's great for creating YouTube videos. Just get yourself some extra batteries, and if you don't mind about 24 frames per second, it's a fantastic camera, beautiful image quality, easy to use menu systems, you can't go far wrong. So, why am I selling it then? Well, I'm selling it for 2 reasons. One, I bought it initially to be able to shoot both stills and also video. However, when creating videos for YouTube, I can't use both at the same time. So I realized that even though I'm very much a case of a 1 camera, 1 lens guy, I do need 2 cameras, 1 for shooting the photographs on the street and 2 for filming behind the scenes. So I've gone back to a camera which I've used before, which is the Fuji X Pro 2. Absolutely love that camera, weather sealed, compact, love the rangefinder styling, very unobtrusive, fantastic film simulation JPEGs, just a great all-round stills camera, which I think will serve me very well. The second reason why I'm getting rid of the Canon EOS RP is to do with the size of the lenses. Now, the body, when I was packing it up yesterday to send it off to be traded in, and I took the lens off the body, that body is just small, compact. It's everything a mirrorless camera should be. Unfortunately, the lenses, beautiful as they are very heavy, and particularly that 24 to 105, it's very front heavy, and the problem I was having was trying to fit it onto gimbals, for example like the Zhiyun or Zhiyun Weeble Lab. Even though it fitted the payload, it was nigh impossible to get it to balance on that gimbal. And if I was trying to do like an underslung shot, then because it was so far back, the eye cup was hitting the gimbal. If I tried to like cant it on its side in POV mode or vortex mode, because of the weight of it, it would come loose and I would have to rebalance it again. So all in all, it was compact, but just not quite compact enough. Now you might say, okay, look, do you really need, you know, a gimbal to stabilize the camera? For me, the quality that I want for this YouTube channel, yes, I think the camera needs to be stabilized in some way, particularly for behind the scenes shots. The very first video I did, one of the things that I noticed and other people commented on was that the footage was just a little bit shaky handheld for those kind of behind the scenes videos. So that's why I'm going to need some sort of gimbal setup. But the problem with gimbals is they can be quite complicated to use, and I want to be able to hand off the gimbal to somebody else or my wife to be able to film me behind the scenes when we go out for a day with the family. And that's where this change has come about, because Zhiyun have released a new gimbal which is really compact, and it's that smooth behind the scenes footage that I really want to try and get has prompted the move to a new system. Zhiyun have released a new gimbal which gets released in the UK this week, and it's the Zhiyun Crane M2. Now, by all accounts, looking at the promotional videos, this thing looks pretty awesome. It will hold everything from your mobile phone to the GoPro, all the way up to small Sony compact mirrorless systems. Clearly, the Canon EOS RP wasn't going to cut it, so that meant that I was going to have to start looking at another camera system. And the obvious winner was the Sony A6400 with the flip-up screen, great eye autofocus tracking, easy to use. Well, we'll see once we start looking in the menu system, but by all accounts they've simplified the menu system. So that's on order. Most of that arrives tomorrow or the day after, and straight away what I'm going to try and do is a setup video, because the big question on YouTube at the moment is, does the A6400 with the Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens, does it fit on the A6400 body on the Zhiyun Crane M2 gimbal? So that's what we're going to try and do.